Alrighty, all. Thanks for joining me back on the internet again. We're here together again today. We're talking political correctness, Me Too, men being silenced and told what to say and what not to say in the workplace. Let's go.
I just said about this awards night, which was the Australian Women in Security Night. And no, that's not security guards. It's about cyber security. It was held at the Star Casino in Sydney on Tuesday night. It was a big event.
I want to give you my take before we get started on this particular story. Why do women need their own separate awards nights? It doesn't make any sense to me. So you get all these people barking about equality. There's no men's night. No men's night in cyber security. No, but we have women's, professional bodies. We have International Women's Day. Where's International Men's Day? That's not celebrated. Absolute basket case over here in Australia. When I see these awards nights for just women, it makes me think to myself, that actually goes against what a lot of these women are screaming about, which is to be treated equally. If you're equal in the workplace, why do you need your own gender-specific awards night? Like it's something special to be a woman in the workplace. Because to me, if you're getting an award where there's no men and it's women are just against women in the workplace at these awards, it's almost like you're on a handicap. It's like, you got female tennis players and you got male tennis players, and who's better? And I'm not saying that's the case in terms of everyone in the workforce, but why is it a woman's... I don't get it. So don't get me started on that shit.
And it's had big sponsors, the New South Wales Government, the NAB, Bupa, the Australian Signals Directorate, TAL, they're an insurance company. It was $500 a ticket. I mean, this is a pretty fancy soiree. But every man who walked into the room and ponied up his $500 a ticket to attend was handed a little note.
Well, you deserve it. If you paid $500 to go to that out of your own pocket, you got rocks in your head. Why would you do that? Why would you pay $500 to go to some work event out of your own? I don't get it. I don't get why people do this.
Way in. And that note says compliments in professional gatherings should focus on accomplishments, not attributes. If you believe it is appropriate to compliment someone's appearance, then use appropriate language for a professional environment. And it says the words that are appropriate, such as nice, fabulous, and great. The inappropriate.
So let's look at these languages. These are just about backhanded compliments. You go, oh yeah, you look nice, I guess. Fabulous. Well, you're a screamer, absolute raging screamer. If you call a woman that, no straight bloke is ever going to say that word. Absolutely bizarre. Yep. Congratulations on your award. I just wanted to say, nice set of cans, and keep it up.
Appropriate words: sexy, beautiful, and gorgeous. May I say you're looking beautiful tonight, Danica?
Oh, Caleb, I'm actually offended. I'm offended.
So isn't that why? So I'm going to stop it here and there, and I'll let this one play for a bit after this comment. Okay, think about this. When women go to events, or even when they go to the workplace, they dress up very nicely. They have nice outfits. Hair's been done. All that sort of thing to look pretty, to look well put together and attractive, or as attractive as they can be in the workplace. So if you then as a man say, you're looking good, you are Joseph Fritzl, you are Jeffrey Epstein. I thought, isn't that why women are doing this? To be looked at and get a compliment? Some of the outfits you see some of these women wear in the corporate world, I'll tell you what, borderline Saturday night clothes when you're out looking for dudes down at the meat market.
Retract that immediately. I'm very offended.
Off to HR we go.
That's it. You tell them, Danica.
I know that the rules and the lines are sort of blurred now as to what you can and can't say, particularly in the workplace, which I think is sad. Like if you genuinely think someone looks good and you say, gee, you look gorgeous today, really, who gives a toss? It's a nice compliment. But to hand out a note to every bloke who paid $500 for a ticket to this thing.
Well, if a guy, okay, think about this. What sort of guy is spending $500 to go to the Women in Cybersecurity Night? So maybe he deserves to get his little note. Who's going to... I just don't get it. I want to spend $5 out of my own money to go to a work event. What is going on here? Get a life, people. Get a life. My opinion, I've told you my opinion on corporate world. Now, not all corporates. Some companies better than others, work harder than others. But I have noticed over my time, some particular corporations, it's basically like daycare for adults, for grown-ups. It's a little sandbox for them to go and play in between 9 and 5 and carry on and all that sort of shit.
To tell him, no, you can't tell someone they're sexy.
I mean, please, and don't forget, us ladies know, Freya, that when you go to these gala dinners, you spend hours on your hair and makeup.
That's
you
it.
have bought a new outfit. You want to go there for the night of nights. You want to be shining.
That's it.
So for a man to come up to you and say, gee, you look beautiful, I would say thank you. I would be honoured to receive that sort of compliment. But you know what? I just feel so sorry for men out there in this day and age, because now it's impossible to know what they can say and what they can't say. And where did this all start? The Me Too movement. The Me Too movement has absolutely destroyed men, because every single man in society is suddenly tainted with the same brush. Oh, if you give a woman a compliment, well, you can't say that to me. That's harassment. That's sexual harassment. And that is part...
It's not even that, all right? Try being a guy in the corporate world these days. I don't think we as women will ever understand. You've got to be walking on eggshells the whole day. You've got to be watching your P's and Q's. I would say in a natural environment perspective, guys like talking a bit of smack. The guys like being direct with our communication. Sometimes not everything's politically correct. I might throw a few blue words in there, so to speak. But now you got to watch that, because you can get written up because someone overheard you from 3 desks away that you said the F word on the phone or something like that. Oh, he said that and I felt offended that he said, get effed. Grow up. Or this Me Too stuff. Oh, I felt as though that he was speaking to me in a sexually aggressive manner, and the way he was looking at me. Go to HR and put in a complaint. Generally, the chicks who are doing that, they're not attractive. All right? The attractive ones aren't doing that because they know they're going to get attention and they're actively dressing for it. You get the chicks who blokes don't look at. So they're like, oh, all these guys are looking at me. They're saying how sexy I am. He made me feel threatened, like I was a target for his predatory urges. This guy gets sacked. I've seen it happen before. When I was starting out very earlier on in my corporate life, there was this dude I worked with, and he was very renowned, very smart, professional in his particular field. Very, very good. He actually had a PhD, all that sort of stuff. He was a bit of a slave driver. Anyway, a young girl started working for him in his particular team, division. She just didn't like him, and she thought that he was bullying her because he was making her do work. He was filling her plate up with work for the day. So more or less, she came up with this story that he was being creepy and sexually suggestive. He got fired. No investigation, nothing. They just cut him loose because they didn't want to have a scandal, anything hit the AFR or anything like that. That guy was gone. Turns out she openly admitted it stupidly after a few drinks to some of her colleagues that never even happened. She just didn't like the guy and she was laughing about it. There you go. And he never got his job back. She ended up getting pushed out of there anyway. But, this is the sort of damage that can be done. And so guys are walking around neutered. You can't even have a bone or shred of masculinity in your persona at all. Otherwise, you're toxic for being a man. But that's all right if women want to have aggressive or competitive behaviours. That's a boss babe. That's okay. That's all right. But men can't do that anymore. We've got to be neutered. You've got to be chemically castrated in the workplace.
Part of the problem. Now, if someone told me I look nice, I'd say, try a bit harder, please. Come on.
Come on.
Again, you look great.
Great.
That's a backhanded compliment. See, I feel sorry for men. They've got no hope with us women at the moment. But it's true, Freya. I don't know how you feel about it as a woman yourself, but if a man gives me a compliment, Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the only one I would agree with them on this one is sexy. I feel like in a work environment, calling a colleague sexy is a bit strange. But again, if you have to hand out a pamphlet telling people what words they can and cannot say, clearly you don't have much confidence in male social intelligence, which, I mean, that could be a fair call in some instances. I don't know what the cybersecurity crew is like, but I would say, you know, most people generally know intuitively what's appropriate and what's not. Secondly,
let's say this. All right, I'm going to tell you something. Like, I've been in the corporate world for a little while. You go to these work events, you go to these conferences, conferences, let's put those in quotes, multi-day just piss-ups, people just getting smashed. You see how loose some of these chicks get, some of the shit they say. And that's fine. But if you were a man and said that, and you were reported, you'd be reprimanded. Before every event, there's a little reminder to look at policy code, 108 for inappropriate language and behaviour under the influence of alcohol, responsible serving of alcohol as an employer. All this, as I said, it's all one-sided. All one-sided. But yeah, I do agree with her. I mean, you don't call chicks sexy in the office. If you need to be told that, then maybe these rules are for you. I don't know, maybe you do need a card.
The kind of people who are offended by getting compliments probably don't get compliments that often.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
The only people, really, who are offended by another woman being called beautiful or gorgeous is ugly women. Like,
correct.
Oh, spot on. I just said that. Spot on. Spot on. They're trying to snuff out any compliments being given to other women because they're sitting there getting nothing. We need to cancel catcalling because I find that offensive. Never been catcalled in their life. You see these chicks who say stuff like that. It's like, do you have a mirror at home? To be coming out and saying stuff like that? Come on. Absolute Karens. Oh, we can't be having any of that.
We have to be honest.
Because they're not getting it enough themselves. Oh, I can't believe someone else gets it. I mean, look, I'm not an oil painting, and, I understand if there's a much better looking bloke, someone's probably going to tell him he's a good looking fella. I'm not offended by that.
But as a man, right, Caleb, do you feel like you have to watch what you say to a woman in public? Do you feel like you have to stop and have a think about it in the event that you're called something?
Look, probably. The short answer to that is no, because I just don't really give a toss. I just say what I want and I'll deal with the consequences later. Because honestly, I reckon 99% of people think this stuff is garbage, and we've been taught by the 1% to police our language. And
you'd be surprised. I think it's a lot more than 1%. A lot of these ladies in the workforce, they've absolutely been programmed by this, that any minor infraction can be seen as harassment. And one thing I've noticed is, and this is not an anti-women, this is just observational, because I've seen these things happen over the years. They're more than happy to run straight to HR and try and get a bloke fired, not even thinking how hard it is to get other jobs, how much that could wreck that guy's life over a few words, even if he did say it or said what you believe his intent was, even if he said he wanted you to sit on his face or whatever it was. Well, you want to get a guy sacked over that. And not even bat an eyelid about the damage that can have to someone's quality of life because they said a couple of words. And these companies, as I said, they fire first and they don't even ask questions. Oh, yeah, he said that, boom, gone. Pack up your desk, you're out of here. Or the guy he just doesn't come in the next day. His desk is empty. People are wondering what happened. And then they find out, over the next sort of few days, once the gossip filters out, that he was Joseph Fritzl. Yeah, no issue doing that. As I said, how many blokes out there, unless the guy was complete flog, he was doing something egregious at work, maybe committing large frauds or something like that, how many blokes would run to HR to try and get a guy sacked? Not many, because you know how important that job is to us. Yeah, you might not like the guy. You might want to king hit him in the car park. Fantasise about it. You see his face. You see him in the office and you just want to headbutt him every time you look at him. But you're not going to go to HR and try and get the guy sacked. Because, in my opinion, massive dog act.
And there is a degree to which you have to do it now because you are so worried about the potential consequences of what might happen. But I mean, if this is the sort of thing that's going to land you in HR on Wednesday morning because you said it on Tuesday night at the awards night, that is laughable. So yeah, I probably do think about it to some degree, but it is so stupid that I would be pretty happy to defend myself for calling someone beautiful. Because 99.999 times out of 10, you'll take the compliment.
Exactly. But the thing is, it is actually impacting men, and it's impacting dynamics in the workplace. The last polling I saw done on this was back from 2019, so the height of the Me Too movement. 60% of men said they were afraid to mentor women in the workplace because they were scared of being falsely accused. So actually, in an effort to promote women's rights, the radical left has actually done a disservice to women because men are now so scared of these.
It's not promoting women's rights, number one. It's emasculating men, and it's misandrist behaviour. It's exactly what it is. Men saw it for what it was. Yes, there were men out there who were doing the wrong thing, and, fair game, fair play for them to get the consequences of that. But then there are other women who are utilising that power now against a lot of people, and men are not putting themselves in the line of fire. Unfortunately, sitting in meeting rooms alone with women trying to mentor them or things like that could be seen as you being a bit of a creep and trying to come onto them. Or going out for coffees together. That could be seen as being inappropriate and crossing the line if you were to say something untoward or perceived to be untoward when you're out. It's not worth it. And as I said, tough economy at the moment. Losing a job over something like this, trying to help someone out and backfire in your face, definitely not worth it.
False allegations that they don't even want to go near junior women in the workplace. And I think that's sad. We've gone way too far.
And just to go back to the point you made earlier about, it's handing out this note is some reflection on what the organisers think of the social abilities of the men. I think it's actually more sinister than that. I think it's just that they hate men, and so they just think it's ingrained in men that they will be inappropriate at all times. Most of us know when it is or isn't appropriate to tell someone that they're sexy or beautiful or gorgeous. You're probably not going to bowl up to someone you've never met before, unless you're hitting on them, and say, "Geez, you look beautiful." But if it's someone you work with and you see them every day, and all of a sudden they actually look half decent tonight, well, who cares?
Half decent. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.